The other power players are Wiggles.
She has little relationships with everyone. She's nice to everyone.
I'm sorry. Who? Editors, can I please get a crumb of context for this vote? I'm starving. Survivor 50 is confirmed to feature returning players, and people are rightfully excited. 9 seasons without a single returning player is a record. Shut up, he doesn't count. Naturally, everyone is looking forward to the future, to a world of new all-stars, new favourites, perhaps even new legends. And I refuse to let people have fun while I'm around. It's time for a reality check. Survivor doesn't always treat their returnees nicely. Sometimes they spend the entire season just dunking on them.
The only time you want to bond with me is when we're getting up for the challenges, which is cool. And if that's all you want,
I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to say you have to trust me. And it's all by design.
Or worse, sometimes they're discarded, forgotten about, used to prop up the editor's real favourites. And I reckon more will come in Survivor 50. So today we're looking at the top several and most under-edited returning players to see if we can figure out why they were so under-edited. Hopefully this will help our hearts better prepare for Survivor 50. I tossed around a few metrics for under-edited, which I was able to do thanks to Survive R linked in the description. In the end, I calculated how many confessionals we'd expect the contestant to get, which is done by getting the average number of confessionals in each episode and summing them up. I then got the number of confessionals the contestant actually had and used that to calculate the percentage of expected confessionals received. So, top several and most under-edited returnees. Starting at number several, we have Brenda in Survivor Caramoan, who had 13 confessionals when we'd expected to have 31, scoring 41.9%. Even the most under-edited returning player you'll probably still remember at least a little bit, only because you've had 2 seasons to get to know them. Brenda started the season strong with 1 confessional in the premiere.
Cochran is like a little tomato right now. He is all bright red all over the place, and he's swollen like a little pregnant lady.
And then, nothing for 8 episodes. This is the longest stretch in this top several and tied for the most episodes without a confessional on the list. She then respawns when Dawn loses her retainer and becomes a pretty consistent character right up through to her boot. So why was she gone for 8 episodes? It's not like she's a boring character, she's one of the bigger ones in Survivor Nicaragua. What gives? Did the producers find her face turn towards playing with honesty unengaging? Were they just certain we needed more Cochran and Phillip content? Was it because they kinda screwed her over with that loved ones visit twist and didn't want anyone to get too emotionally invested in Brenda because they would be even angry at production for putting that twist in the game? My money's on that last one. This may end up being a recurring theme.
I know that Andrea wants to blindside me. So this is a very tricky role. It's like a leap of faith, like, okay, I'm writing down Andrea and I hope I don't go home.
At number 6 we have Sue from Survivor All-Stars. She had several confessionals and we'd expected to get several teen, which is 41.2%. This does not include the recap episode, which is a shame, because I kinda like those, they had fun moments.
I didn't touch your spear, Rupert. I never touched your spear.
Let me know if you watched the recap episodes back when they were around. Anyway, back on track. Sue's edit is not surprising to me. She had an unfortunate encounter with Richard Hatch in the episode 5 immunity challenge, which I understand Hatch is beloved, but come on. This is just gross. Don't do that. Even Jeff told him to cut that out.
Guys, come on! Nobody cares about that stuff.
As a result, she got quite justifiably angry and quit the next episode. Survivor doesn't take too kindly to quitting, also doesn't take too kindly when they're worried about a lawsuit.
I lived in Canada for 6 years and I drank the water right out of the lakes. Right out of the lakes. No filter system, nothing.
Top 5, baby, top 5. Next up we have Troyzan in Survivor Game Changers. He had 14 confessionals and would expect him to get 34, which is also exactly 41.2%, but he made it further, so that breaks the tie here. Troyzan appearing on this list is wild to me. Didn't even realize Troyzan was on Game Changers! The inclusion of Troyzan and to a lesser extent Brad this season is so very funny to me. Guys, you literally asked the fans Do you want Troyzan and Brad back again? We said no. But you did it anyway? And then under-edited him? There are 2 episodes where Troyzan got more than 2 confessionals. The finale and the episode where he found his idol. What happened? This man owns an island, for crying out loud.
This isn't my island! You can't beat me!
And the confessionals he did get were lifeless.
So it would be a huge plus in my game not to play my idol right now.
You were so desperate to bring him back, and for what? What gives? My theory is that Troyzan, much like a good chunk of the Survivor Game Changers cast, was just a bit out of his element. You've got legends like Sari, Ozzy, Malcolm, Sandra, JT, and then you've got Haley, and fan favorite Game Changer Sierra Dawn Thomas, and Troyzan. He may be entertaining when he's up against One World cast legends like Leaf, but in the case of these legends and others, he didn't have much to provide. I also think Troyzan bowing out at Final Tribal Council made the editors feel justified in leaving him on the cutting room floor.
Whatever that is, I got to be a part of. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Really, it means a lot, you guys, and I'm out.
Or maybe they edited him out because he has a massive green monster and this is a family show? We'll never know. At number 4 we have Kimmy from Survivor Cambodia. She received 13 confessionals and would expect her to have 38, so that's 34.2%. The main thing I remember about Kimmy was the argument she had with Monica about clams.
I really need to practice my patience a little bit more because Monica is wearing my patience very thin.
Other than that, she sure was in Cambodia. Long stretches of no content in the pre-merge, and throughout the merge she mainly got 1 or 2 confessionals per episode, while Andrew Savage was out here getting 11 in 1 episode. That's almost more than all of Kimmy's confessionals this season combined. What?
Here's the thing about Steven. First reaction is Jeremy's looking for an idol, as opposed to Jeremy has a wonderful wife and kids. Maybe my story affected him and he needed some private time.
This is the exact same issue as the Brenda edit. I think production was just trying to save face. Pro tip for future Survivor players. If your elimination requires Jeff to bring out a chalkboard to explain what the heck just went down, you're getting a bad edit. The producers don't like looking bad. They don't want the viewers blaming them for anything, even if it is probably their fault. So if you're eliminated because they hid too many trinkets on an island, the viewers will not be rooting for you. Unless you're Sari. It's kinda hard to under-edit Sari. But Kimmy? Go nuts.
My whole entire ambition is to get to the end, and there are gonna be casualties.
At the number 3 spot we have Danielle from Survivor Heroes vs Villains. She received 8 confessionals and would expect her to get 25, so that's 32%. She also had 8 episodes with 0 confessionals, but they weren't all in a row. With the others on this list, I can look at their first season and wonder, how the heck did they get under-edited this time? They were so bombastic the first time. A bit less with Danielle, although she did have the amazing ability to bounce off crazy people. So surely a tribe with Russell and Coates is prime for some comedy gold, right? Nah. With those 2 plus Boston Rob and Parvati all on one tribe, when would they even give Danielle screen time? She has to do something absolutely ridiculous like fight Amanda while watching Treasure Island. I also think her getting ragdolled by Russell was meant to be seen as a badass moment for him, or at least a moment for us to revel in, or be shell-shocked by. And you can't give a punching bag feelings and stakes for us to care about. Then we're going to be mad when Russell curb stomps her for basically no reason. So no content for Danielle. If Russell's going to look bad, it will be completely unrelated. We have enough footage of him being an ass. We don't need you here.
I threw that out there and Russell freaked out and screamed at me because he's just so in control of this game and everything has to go the way he wants it to go.
Fittingly, in second place we have Kelly Wigglesworth from Survivor Cambodia. Man, if I had a nickel for every old school female player brought back for Survivor Cambodia that gets criminally under-edited, I'd have 2 nickels. Not a lot, but it's weird it happened twice, right? The original challenge beast. 1 vote away from being our very first winner, Back on the screen after 15 years, they gave her 5 confessionals over the course of 9 episodes, out of an expected count of 20. That's 25%. Luckily, I know exactly why this happened. And it's not Sandwich Gate. Let's read a quarantine questionnaire, shall we? How do you feel about the edit you got on the show? I've never watched the show. How do you do 39 days on Survivor and never even watch an episode? Imagine someone from Survivor 46 saying this. Was there ever a point either during the game or after you got back where you regretted going on the show? No regrets. Go girl, give us nothing! This may genuinely be the funniest Survivor interview of all time. But imagine the poor camera person trying to interview her for confessionals. Kelly, do you like your tribe? Yep. Is there anyone you want to work with? Not really. Do you notice any alliances forming? Nope. Don't do this to Survivor producers, they don't take kindly to it. I wouldn't be surprised if she was a recipient of one of Just Famous tribal blow-ups when people are giving bad answers. Going back to a questionnaire, finally, would you play again if asked? No. Don't worry Kelly, I don't think that's happening.
It's a much different game this time than it was the last time. It's not really my style, so they can have at it.
Coming in at number 1, we have Courtney Yates from Survivor Heroes vs Villains. Man, if I had a nickel for every female villain that opposed Russell Hantz on this list, I'd have 2 nickels. Man, if I had a nickel for every time I got to make and if I had a nickel joke on this list, I'd have 2 nickels. Courtney received 4 confessionals and should have received 17, which is 23.5%. This is criminal. Absolutely criminal. Courtney may be one of the greatest confessionalists of all time.
And Jerry's in total denial, but she totally flirts. And she's, I think, in spite of herself, a little bit in love with the Dragon Slayer.
But weirdly enough, this isn't her first time being under-edited. She only got 59% of her expected confessionals in Survivor China, but clearly they liked her enough to bring her back, so what gives? Heroes vs Villains really was a season of, well, we can't give Courtney confessionals, we gotta hear from Russell again. I have no words to describe how weird it is to completely remove the winner's number 1 from the edit. I mean, why? They're clearly a big part of the winner's journey, you can't just remove them from the season and expect us not to ask questions. At least they never did that again. Ah well, what Courtney lacks in quantity, I assure you she makes up for in quality.
It's no secret that Russell has a little boy crush on Parvati because he's, I mean, let's face it, he's like a bandy-legged little troll who, you know, sort of like scampers around with his tooth missing and, you know, is in and out of the bushes and never washes, and she pays attention to him and she has like no problem flirting with clearly anything that walks.
She doesn't even need confessionals. This clip of her walking past Russell and Coates on a seesaw is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. She's also someone I'd love to see on Survivor 50. Just give her more content this time, please. I'm begging you. Do you know how hard it is scrubbing through these episodes looking for her confessionals?
Boston Rob is like the bright shining star and he gets so frustrated with these fools.
And that's our list. 6 women, 1 man. Is there commentary to be made here? Yes. Is that commentary suited to be the footnote of a top several list? No, but I will cover it one day. Let's quickly summarize why I think everyone was under-edited. Production screwed over. Production wanted us to forget. Lost the deed to his island. Production screwed over. Russell Hantz was probably just genuinely kind of frustrating to work with. And Russell Hantz. Not a super cohesive theme this time, but let me know in the comments below who you think the biggest waste of a returnee spot was. Who would you like to have seen more of? And let me know who you think will waste a returnee slot on Survivor 50. Also subscribe while you're down there, I love overanalyzing Survivor and overanalyzing my YouTube numbers. Until next time, I've been Henry Hickman Survivor, and I'll see you at the seesaw.